Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Salaam Alaikum. Mr. Moderator, our distinguished guests, brothers and sisters, our friends and our enemies.
Bismillah wa salatu wa salam wa rasulullah wa ba'd. In the name of Allah, may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon His last and final messenger. Family, friends, foes, haters, and hateettes, welcome back to the Feachaz. I greet you all in peace and love with no hatred in my heart. But before we begin, please like, please subscribe, and please share. As you know, we got a lot of haters up in here. And those of y'all who've been following, you realize already that there are many people who do not like us. But it's not for the reasons that they say that they don't like us. They say that they don't like us because we are black supremacists, whatever that means. Whatever, like black supremacists, that's what we are. They say that they don't like us because we are practicing reverse racism. Like, whatever that means. Okay? They say that they don't like us because we practice black nationalism. Well, we're black nationalists. Okay. We ain't afraid to say that. Okay. However, the reason why they don't like us, the real reason why, is because they want the foot on the neck of black people to be permanent and perpetual. And because we are pointing out very clearly, and every single day something comes up that very openly and obviously proves that, yeah, we right. And there needs to be an absolute change in the thinking and the energy that black people focus on. Because we said that we're not afraid to say that. We are not those folks who are begging folks for alliances. We're not begging anybody for friendship. We're not begging anybody for brotherhood. That ain't us. And we're not shy to say it. Because we say that, that is the real reason that they don't like us. And one of the things that we have said on this channel, when people come with all of these epithets and insults for us, we said very clearly that white supremacy, if you are looking at white supremacy in terms of, some events that happened in the past, like slavery, and if you're looking at racism and you're restricting it to, saying the N-word or things of that nature, then you don't understand white supremacy, nor do you understand racism. White supremacy and racism is a global system. It is a global system. It comes through different names. Some people might call it colonialism. Some people might call it the left-right paradigm if you're in a democratic state. But the goal and the focus and the purpose of white supremacy is to ensure that the power and the resources and the human capital, as well as you know, real estate capital, all of it flows directly into the direction of a people who have classified themselves as white. And these same folks, politically, spiritually, economically, and you know, in every aspect, try to dominate the resources, the capital, and the human resources over those folks who they have classified as black. That's what white supremacy is. And many sciences came out of this white supremacy. So now, if you are not fighting or you're not opposed to this global system, which is very obviously on autopilot now in our times, if you're not fighting this system, then either you are an unwilling participant in it, or you're ignorant of it, or you're comfortable with it. And this is the same demonic system that Iblis himself has been setting the stage for, that is essentially what we call now, you know, some of you might call it the New World Order or whatever it is, but it's this global system. So now what we have, and what Palestine is, what the issue in Palestine has done, it has squarely pointed the finger of those people who are perpetrating these systems. People who never used to say racist are now saying racist. All right? Shout out to Daniel Hagigajit.
Emotional damage.
Okay? Shout out to Abdullah Andalusi.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Folks who never said the word racism, the racism don't exist when it comes to black people, they have to concede that it exists for Palestinians. So by default, if it exists for Palestinians, it must exist for black people, correct? It has to. Because that's what the system was designed for anyways. For a group of people who they have classified themselves as white to dominate a group of people who they have also classified as black. And within this system that has been perfected for the better part of 4 centuries, now it's on strict autopilot. Every single time these white supremacists want to shore up their system, they can't go on a global stage doing it themselves, okay? They always have to send some Negro to do their dirty work. They always got to do it. Okay? So we have seen, let me just pull this up here. Let me just find it and pull it up. We have seen now all this stuff coming out. We've seen what's happening. Y'all see what happened with Jonathan Majors recently? What is guilty verdict? Okay. Y'all seen what happened with the United States vetoing a ceasefire resolution at the UN? Y'all seen that, right? The lawyer that they sent after Jonathan Majors to get this, like every single media commenter, all of them, what are they all saying? They say they can't even believe this thing went to trial. How do you go to trial for a misdemeanor? How do you do this? Well, if it's a black man and a white woman, you know how you do it. Black folks do this, okay? We knew what was going to happen. You didn't have to ask us twice. We knew this was going to happen. If you look at what happened at the UN, we knew before it even happened that they were going to send a Negro to go up there and talk about, we're going to veto this vote. We knew that. Y'all remember when the United States government announced that Assata Shakur was #1 on the FBI's most wanted list? Who did they send to send this message out? Who did they send? They sent a Negro, correct? Well, watch this, y'all. Watch this. Let me just cue this up. 1 second. One second, y'all. Watch this, y'all. Here we go.
U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin announced a 10-nation coalition to protect trading interests in the Red Sea after a series of attacks by Yemen's Houthi rebels. The coalition...
Did y'all see that? Did y'all see that? Let's rewind it again, y'all, in case you missed it.
The Red Sea after a series of attacks by Yemen's Houthi rebels. The coalition includes Bahrain, Canada, France, Italy, the UK, and the Seychelles. Houthi officials have said their drone and missile attacks would continue as long as Gaza suffers from Israel's unrelenting assault.
Now, I want y'all to do the math on this. Okay? They got one Negro vetoing UN resolutions and another Negro sending arms to the Red Sea to fight who? The Houthis. The Houthis. Somebody make it make sense. But why do they do that? It's the same reason why they sent the Negro to tell the world that Assata Shakur is on the America's Most Wanted list. It's the same reason why they got Kamala Harris to say, we ain't doing nothing for just black folks. No! No! Y'all remember that? We ain't doing nothing for just black folks. No! It's the same reason why Barack Obama, for 8 solid years, gave the L's, the B's, the G's, the T's, the Q's, anything and everything they wanted, and black people got squat. It is because of the system of global white supremacy. They are shoring up the system of global white supremacy. And whenever they want to do their dirty work for the world, you think they're going to send a white supremacist do it? A white supremacist? No, they got to send the black white supremacist. Okay, that's why. They have to send the black white supremacists. Furthermore, because this is an international system, you find not just the coons, the sellouts, the shines, the ham bones, the butter biscuits, the fried chicken enthusiast coming out the woodworks everywhere in the West. But they are also rearing their heads out in Africa. And from places we never expected. Let me show y'all something. 1 second, y'all. Let me just pull this up. Watch this, y'all. Look at here. You ain't gonna believe this one.
Bernard Ngugi's been working on farms in Kenya for about 20 years. He says he'd work in Israel if given the chance, and he's not put off by the risks of conflict.
I want to bring up my children well, but I've never had the chance, because I've never had a good job where I can stand on my own 2 feet. If this chance is the one, I can help my parents, and I can build for my family.
About 10,000 foreign workers have left Israel since Hamas attacked on October the 7th. Most are from Thailand, including these men who were captured and later released by Hamas. Others were killed. Israel's also revoked work permits for Palestinians. Now it's turning to African countries to plug the gap.
Are y'all seeing this? Y'all seeing this, right? Y'all are seeing. You cannot make this stuff up. You cannot make this stuff up. Just a couple of years ago, the Kenyan government recalled their domestic workers from. We put a video about this from the Middle East, correct? They recalled them, particularly from the Gulf countries. Why did they do that? Why did they do that? Do y'all remember? Documentaries was made about what was going on in the Gulf countries. Y'all hearing me? Entire documentaries. Women being molested, sent back pregnant, workers not being paid, workers being tortured, workers being starved, workers being forced into prostitution, and on and on and on. There was one video that went viral, and we couldn't show it here, but we talked about it. How one of these workers, she just had a baby. She went to go become a domestic worker in Saudi Arabia. And you know what they were doing to this woman? You know what they were doing to this woman? They were forcing this woman, and I'm even shy to say this, they were forcing this woman to breastfeed puppies. Okay? The milk that she was supposed to give to her babies, these folks forced her to breastfeed puppies. Okay? Kenya recalled massive recall on their domestic workers from the Middle East. Not just Kenya either. Indonesia did it. Who else did it? Other countries did it. They recalled their workers for the same reason. The same folks that recalled the workers because of their humiliating and inhumane conditions in the Middle East, now they're going to send their workers to be, to their labor force to be domestic workers in Israel. They're going to send their domestic labor force to become domestic labor in Israel.
Bombastic side eye. Criminal offensive side eye. Do you understand?
Are y'all catching this? Now, how does something like this even possibly happen in 2023? We keep saying on this channel, if you want more of something, you monetize it, you finance it. There are no shortage of sellouts on earth. And the only solution for a sellout, a person who would sell their own people out, the only solution for those folks, the only thing that they can understand, the only language that they know is that when their insides become their outsides. That's the only language they know. And that is not possible without the change in the thinking of the psyche of the oppressed class. When they come on code, when their culture becomes more solid, when their communities are more tight-knit, when they start looking at their people as brothers and sisters and not enemies. You can never, ever treat or talk to a sellout in the way that you would treat and talk to other folks. You cannot do that. They are not the same. Your enemy will very happily find even randoms off the street, prop them up into leaders as long as they're willing to play the game. How many times have they done that? How many times has your enemy done this? What do you think is going to happen to these Negroes when they start going to Israel? Now, I want to take you back to something that I mentioned because y'all think perhaps that this is only an economic issue. It is an economic issue. Racism is an economic issue. White supremacy is an economic issue. It absolutely is. But there is a very clear and obvious spiritual aspect to this that people are generally not catching. Okay? Allah says in the Quran, وَإِذَا قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ إِنِّي جَاعِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً. Okay? Allah says that, verily, He told the angels that I am going to put a Khalifa, a successor on the earth, correct? Who is this Khalifa? It's the father of all human beings, is it not? Adam. Okay? But the angels, they asked Allah a very important question when He told them this. Okay? The angels asked him, قالوا أتجعل فيها ما يفسد فيها ويسفك الدماء نحن نسبح وبحمدك ونقدس لك. Okay? So the angels are asking Allah, will you place in it someone who will spread corruption and shed blood in the earth while we, the angels, we praise you and we glorify you? And what did Allah respond to them? He said, قَالُوا إِنِّي أَعْلَمُ مَا لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Okay, He said that, verily, I know that which you do not know. Right? This is what Allah told the angels. So there's a couple of things that you got to think about before we get into this. The first thing is, why would the angels ask Allah something like this? Right? The logical reason is because they seen something like this before, correct? There was already a creation on earth before Adam that was doing what? That was spreading corruption, okay, and shedding blood before Adam even came on the scene. Y'all hearing me? So that's why they're asking Allah, are you going to put something that's going to do the same thing? Let me ask y'all something, okay? The angels, when they asked this question, was it a wise and a foreshadowing question? Yes or no? It was indeed a wise and foreshadowing question, correct? Because they rightfully predicted that corruption will be spread on the earth. Is there corruption on the earth right now? Is there corruption on the earth right now? So Allah is telling the angels He's going to put a Khalifa on the earth, but is Adam created yet? No, he's not created yet. We know that the jinn were created, but Adam wasn't created. Y'all hearing me? So He tells the angels first. And who else hears the news about this Khalifa? It's Iblis. Iblis also hears the news about this Khalifa. And Iblis wants to be what? He wants to be that Khalifa, correct? So what does Iblis do? He starts increasing himself in righteous actions. He starts getting involved in killing his own kind, the wicked from his own kind, in order to draw near to Allah and all these type of things. Okay? That's what he does. And he does this for however many eons Allah wills, okay? How many years, centuries, whatever it is. Okay? He's doing this for a long time until Allah keeps telling him, come closer, draw nearer, draw nearer. And he keeps getting higher in the ranks of Jannah, higher in the ranks of heaven. And then finally, Allah creates the shell of this black thing called Adam. Adam from the word Udma, which means jet black, okay? Jet black. And Iblis sees this now. But he's not thinking too much about it. He's still doing his thing, trying to draw nearer to Allah, right? Allah's creating this thing out of tin, out of mud, this very fine mud, sounded clay. And then Iblis sees the shell of Adam, and he's testing it out. It's coming through the nose, the mouth, through all the orifices. And Iblis, he comes to the conclusion this is a weak thing. This is a weak creation. Okay? Where are you going with this? I'm going somewhere with this, okay? Just hold on to your horses. I'm going somewhere with this. Okay? So, however, as long as Allah wills, Iblis is watching this thing as Allah is creating it over time. Okay? Now, mind you, Allah says in the Quran, whenever He wants to create a thing, He says, kun fayakun, be and it is, correct? If He wants to create something, that's how He does it. But He didn't do this with Adam. He took His time creating Adam, correct? He took His time creating Adam. And He let the angels know beforehand that He's going to make a Khalifa on the earth. They didn't know who this Khalifa was. Iblis is gunning for this job to be the Khalifa. And all of a sudden, he creates this thing out of the sounding clay, okay? While Iblis is doing all the work. Are y'all hearing me? Now, Allah, He breathes the life into Adam. And then Allah says in the Quran, وَعَلَّمَ آدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا. Okay? That Allah, He taught Adam al-asma'a kullaha, the names of all things. So what is the domineering trait of Adam that made Adam very special? It is what Allah, He allamahu. He taught him. It was what Allah taught him, meaning knowledge. And then, remember what Allah told the angels. Allah told the angels that I know that which you do not know. Right? So then, ثُمَّ أَرَدَّهُمْ عَلَى الْمَلَائِكَةِ فَقَالَ أنبئون بأسماء هؤلاء إن كنتم صادقين. Okay? So, He presented these things to the angels, right? And then He said to the angels, tell me the names of these if what you say is true. Tell me the names of these if what you say is true. Okay? Why did He say this? If you go back to the first ayah, right? The ayah that we mentioned before, right? He's telling the angels that he's going to put a Khalifa on the earth, right? But the angels, they second guessed him based upon what they say. They saw. So the angels, they were thinking it, that what is going to come on the earth will be the same like this. Something that just kind of spreads bloodshed and these type of things. So now Allah he's showing the angels that Allah can create something that is even more honorable than you. That's what Allah is showing them. So now Allah is testing the angels. Okay? Where does the honor come from? It comes from obedience to Allah. When you have the choice to disobey, but you obey Allah, that's where the honor comes from. And on top of that, this honor comes from knowledge as well. So what did the angels say? They said, "Qalu subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana." They said, "Glory be to you, O Allah. We have no knowledge except for what you have taught us. Innaka anta alimul hakim." And verily, you are the all-knowing, the all-wise. Okay? Then Allah says to who? He said, قال يا آدم أنبئهم بأسمائهم. Okay? He says to Adam, inform them of the names. Tell them the names of this stuff. Right? فلما أنبأهم بأسمائهم قال ألم أقل لكم إني أعلم غيب السماوات والأرض وأعلم ما تبردون وما كنتم تكتمون. Right? So Allah's telling the angels now. Right? Adam tells them the names, and then Allah says, "Did I not tell you that I know the secrets of the heavens and the earth? And I know what you reveal and what you conceal." And Allah continues. وَإِذَا قُلْنَا لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ اسْجُدُوا. This is the part we want to get right. What made Adam honorable? Allah blessed Adam with the knowledge of the names of the creation that Allah taught him directly. Okay? Allah taught Adam the names of these things. The angels didn't even know the names of things. They just see them as things, But Adam knew the names of these things. Why is this important? Why is this important? When you name something, the names come with a meaning behind it. You get me? So when the enemy gives something a name, they do that with purpose of intention in corrupting the meaning of that thing. Let's be very clear about that. So it is up to the righteous to clarify the truth from the falsehood. Just because these folks feign knowledge and pretend like they know everything from science, from agriculture, from all this kind of stuff. You're talking about the people who use this and erase the history of other people in order to claim something that they never did, and then give it different names. So now, the aggressor, the colonizer, when he goes and he essentially colonizes a place, and those people fight back, and I want you to put it in the chat. When the enemy colonizes a place, and the colonized, the oppressed, the ones who are being attacked, When they fight back, what do they always call those people who fight them back? Put it in the chat, please. I'm not going to say it. Y'all know, okay? The people who fight them back, what do they call them? Put it in the chat, please. Just put it in the chat. Don't worry, I'll wait. I'll wait till somebody put it in the chat. Okay? So Allah, he continues, وَإِذْ قُلْنَا لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ سُجُودْ لِآدَمَ فَسَجَدُوا إِلَّا إِبْلِيسَ أَبَى وَاسْتَكْبَرَ وَكَانَ مِنَ الْكَافِرِينَ. Okay? So Allah, he told the angels to do what? He said for them to prostrate to Adam. And they all prostrate. I want y'all to think about this. Iblis is vying for this job to be Khalifa. Okay? He is doing all this work. Right? But Allah has knowledge of all things. And Allah already knew that He was creating something better than Iblis to be the Khalifa, correct? Which is Adam. And they all prostrated, all the angels prostrated, except for who? Iblis. Iblis was the only one who didn't prostrate. He refused. And he was arrogant. And because of that refusal and that arrogance, even though he knew who Allah was very well, he knew Allah is his creator, he knew Allah is his Lord, he knew Allah is his master, he knows all this, and he knows. But this disobedience was caused him to be a disbeliever. This one act. That's what they call him, right? They call him terrorist. They call him terrorist. Anyone who fights them back, they call them the terrorist. But who are the real terrorists? It's these folks, right? So again, why are we talking about Adam and Iblis here? I want y'all to think about this very clearly. What was it that Iblis said? Why is the reason that Iblis said that he did not bow down? Why did he refuse? Why did he refuse to bow down to Adam? What did he say? Did he not say, "Ana khayra minhu"? He said, "I am better than him." Khalaqti min nar. You created me, Allah. He created me from fire. Wa khalaqtu min tin, and you created him out of mud. That's what he said, right? Did Adam do anything wrong to Iblis? Did he harm him? Did he oppress him? Did he say anything bad about his mama and his dad? Did Adam transgress against Iblis in any way? What's the answer, family? Put it in the chat, please. Did Adam transgress against him? At all? Did he do anything wrong to him? I want you all to think about this and connect the dots. Okay? What wrong did Adam do to Iblis to cause Iblis to hate Adam so much? Did he do anything wrong? No, he didn't. But yet, Iblis hated the existence of Adam. But not just the existence, but the fact that he did all this work, okay? And Adam was just created yesterday and took all this shine, correct? Adam just showed up. Adam was just created. That's all he did. Black people, I want y'all to think of this very well. Did you do anything to white folks to make them hate you so bad? Yes or no? Put it in the chat, please. What did you do to make white folks hate you so much? Did you do anything? What about the very Arabs? The same Arabs that Kenya just a couple of years ago, sending their women back pregnant and molested and not paying them. What did black folks do to these Arabs to have the Arabs hate them so much? Did you do anything to make Arabs hate you? To give them an excuse to treat you like subhumans? For white folks to write entire books and make entire sciences of how inferior the black mind is? To chop off thousands of heads of Congolese and melt the flesh off of these heads so that their skulls could be measured and sent to Belgium to try to prove that black folks are somehow having smaller brains than white folks? Did you do anything to deserve this? Did you do anything to deserve this? When Africans are going to India to study, and mobs of Indians are attacking Nigerians and Ghanaians for just showing up, did those black Africans do anything to those Indians to have them do that? Did they do anything? I'm asking y'all. Somebody put it in the chat, please. There's not enough of y'all put it in the chat. There's not enough. There's look at here. Look at here. I want some answers in the chat. Until then, y'all can have a little intermission until we got some answers in the chat.
In the Ugandan capital of Kampala, Pastor Martin Sempa is rallying support for an anti-homosexuality bill that has drawn the ire of the international community, including the very American evangelicals some believe inspired the legislation.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Pastor Dr. Martin Sempa. I'm here in the capacity as the chairman of the National Task Force Against Homosexuality in Uganda.
At the press conference, Pastor Sempa was flanked by religious leaders, both Christian and Muslim, a show of unity seldom seen in Uganda.
We are making legislation to make sure that sodomy and homosexuality never sees the light of legality in this land of the Pearl of Africa.
In a room packed with local and international media, the pastor began a presentation that grew increasingly inflammatory and graphic.
I've taken time to do a little research to know what homosexuals do in the privacy of their bedroom. One of the things they do is called anal leaking, where a man's anus is leaked like this by the other person, like ice cream. And then what happens, even poo-poo comes out. The other poo-poo's out, and then they eat the poo-poo. The other one they do is they have a sex practice called fisting, where they insert their hand into the other man's hand, and it goes into the anus all the way. And it is so painful, they have to take drugs, but they enjoy it. Now, if we have any children, please step out. This is a parental guidance moment. That child can be moved out. So I've done research. This is what they do. Number one, you can see a man here having sucked the other person's rectum, and the other person is poo-pooing, and this one is eating the poo-poo all over the place. Tell me, when you have a law against homosexuality, do you say except eating poo-poo? I mean, look at this guy sincerely. Bishop. Staggerfulizer. Huh? Hajat, we do not want this sickness. This is sick and it's therefore deviant. We do not want it.
A skilled and savvy showman.
All right, y'all. Y'all gonna learn today. Y'all gonna learn today. All right? Black folks didn't have to do anything for these people to hate us. They just do. You show up, they gonna hate you. So the system of global white supremacy has caused this global hatred for the existence of melanin. And the darker you are, the more humiliated you're going to get in the society. So much so that even in Palestine, a place like Palestine, people who are saying that black people don't face racism, all of a sudden they can see racism in Palestine. All of a sudden they can see it. The same way that their Salaf, Iblis, ain't got no reason to hate Adam. It's the same. It's the same thing. It's the same thing, and it don't matter whether they are a white supremacist in blackface, a white supremacist in Asian face, or a white supremacist with a thobe and a beard. A white supremacist is a white supremacist. And do not confuse white supremacy as strictly a white thing. There are people who are not white who are very happy and eager to keep the global system of white supremacy alive and well. Shout out to Vivek Ramaswamy. Vivek. And pretty much almost every South Asian politician in the West is like that anyway. The prime minister, what's his name? The prime minister of Rumi Sundak or whatever, the guy in Britain, right? All these shucking and jiving, buttery biscuit, trying their best to get into the good graces of Zaddy. Ain't none of them white, but they dang sure some white supremacists. It is a satanic system. Read about Iblis. Read about Iblis and Adam. That is their religion. And don't let anybody with no Muslim name fool you. If they are practicing this, they are upon the religion of Iblis. That is their salaf. When they ain't got no work for the oppressor, nothing to say about the oppressor, nothing to say about the dominant ruling class. As a matter of fact, they encourage the people to side and get into the good graces of the dominant ruling class and exonerate them from every wicked thing that has happened in history. Meanwhile, you have members of the dominant ruling class trying their best, their absolute best, to end the system of white supremacy and having their work trivialized and marginalized by people trying to prop it up, who are not a part of that class. They're not part of that class. Vivek Ramaswamy, okay? They trying to destroy the system of white supremacy with the inside, and folks from the outside trying to keep it up. And it's not only a duty for every reasonable human being to not just dismantle, but to try their with all efforts that they possibly can to end the system, but is absolutely to do to every Muslim. Absolutely to do to every Muslim. No doubt about it. When they look at you like that, they're looking at you with the same mind, thoughts, and ideas of Iblis himself. Don't let anybody come around talking about, only white folk are white supremacists. Okay? That is not only is it incorrect, but it's not even factual by any stretch of the imagination. How do you get a Vivek Ramaswamy? How do you get it? What is his name? What's this guy in Britain? Something Sumac, whatever his name is, Prime Minister there. How do you get these type of folks? They ain't black. I mean, they ain't white, sorry. How do you get a Clarence Thomas? How do you get a Kamala Harris? And the only solution for the sellout, there's only one solution for the sellout. As we said before, make their insides their outsides. That's it. But anyways, family, Jazakallah khair. Thanks for joining me tonight. Like, subscribe, share. Hit me up on Patreon. Let's see, tomorrow's Thursday. Yeah, I'll see y'all tomorrow, inshallah. Subhanahu wa ta'ala, wa shahada la ant, wa astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.